The Big Red Kitchen Show is brought to you by Markle Auto Group, Salt Restaurant, Wren's Display, The Pampered Chef products provided by consultant Heidi Leopold, Sea of Red Wine, D. Ford Family Dental, Corporate Creations, D. Tendenza, Food Styling, and Photography.
Hello and welcome to the Big Red Kitchen Show, the show about former Nebraska football players who love to cook. Big guys who are comfortable in the kitchen. They enjoy cooking up a meal for family and friends. Today's show, we have some special guests for us, and we're going to hear a bit about one of those former Nebraska football players. We're going to find out what he's been doing since he left Nebraska. We'll be hearing a little bit about his recipe. Actually, he's going to fix it for us today. Plus, we're going to introduce a time-saving kitchen gadget, and we'll be doing a very, very exciting beverage pairing that'll really enhance today's featured dish. I'm Sherry Potter, and I am a professional food stylist and food photographer, and I love testing out new recipes in my studio kitchen. And today's recipe is by Mike Caputo, and it is a wonderful bruschetta. I think you're all going to love it. However, before we start, I'd like to introduce you to my football-loving co-host, Angela.
Thanks so much, Sherry. Hi, everyone. I'm Angela Waltman, and I'm creator of the Big Red Recipes Cookbook. The Big Red Recipes is a cookbook filled with former Husker football players, 45 of them in all, who gave us their favorite recipes from family dishes to desserts that they like to share with their kids to things they learned to cook while they were playing. So it's a great book. You can go to bigredrecipes.com to learn a little bit more about all of our players that were involved, find out why they chose the recipe they chose, find out what they've been doing since they left playing football, and then also find out more about the charity they support. The book is a fundraising book, so each of the guys got to choose a charity that was near and dear to their hearts and then have been able to use it to raise money for that charity. So please go take a look at bigredrecipes.com, but we don't want to talk about the book anymore. We want to talk about the food we're making today, right, Sherry?
I know, I can't wait.
So bruschetta, which apparently is supposed to be bruschetta? Is that correct?
Yes, I think. Well,
we're going to go with bruschetta.
We should probably ask the Caputos because I think that they sound like they're fairly Italian.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yes,
we'll do that.
Yes.
But it's a great recipe, and it's by Mike Caputo, who played for us in 08 to 11 as an offensive lineman.
Okay.
After he played for Nebraska, he did go on to try out for a couple of NFL teams, but you know what? I'd really rather that he tell us more. So why don't we go ahead and bring on Mike Caputo?
Wonderful.
Hi, Mike. How are you doing? Go ahead and come on in.
Hi. Welcome to our show. We're so glad you could make it today.
All right. So offensive lineman, and you were a walk-on, is that correct?
Yep. I walked on in 07. And then I earned a scholarship about halfway through and then ended up starting the last 2 years. So I was really fortunate. My first year starting was our last year in the Big 12. And then my last year as a senior was our first year in the Big 10. So it's awesome years. It was a great time in Nebraska. And,
How was that transition, moving from one conference to another? How did that change things?
It was just a little different style of play, different approaches to the game and things like that. But I enjoyed it, and I got to see a lot of cool venues, so I couldn't have been more happy, and I made a lot of great friends, and friends I'll have for a lifetime, so it was awesome.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So I'm sure a lot of our viewers know what a walk-on is, but for those of you who don't, can you tell us a little bit more about what exactly does a walk-on entail?
Yeah, it's just a little bit more of like the longer road to hoe.
Okay.
I was not extremely highly recruited out of high school. I had some offers to a Division I AA school, SEMO, a couple smaller D2 schools, but at the end of the day, I just decided that I really wanted to play at Nebraska. Cool. I was a Nebraska kid, grew up in Nebraska, looked up to the Huskers my entire childhood. So I thought I'd throw my hat in the ring, and it ended up working out really well. So.
Kind of almost like a dream come true, really.
Yeah,
I mean,
yep,
like,
absolutely.
did you play like Little League or League Ball or when you were growing up?
Yep, and my dad was actually my O-line coach. So, my dad played guard at Kearney State back in the day.
Okay.
And then was my O-line coach when I was a little KWAA Steeler.
Oh, you were a Steeler?
Oh yeah.
Ooh, KWAA.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yep,
Nice.
Kingswood. That was a lot of fun. And then he was. Him and my mom have both been unbelievably supportive throughout my football career. They were at every game. They actually didn't miss any of them, home or away, whether I was playing or not. So it was an awesome experience.
So KWAA, how old were you when you started?
I think I started at 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I think we actually argue about that.
That's the cutest age to watch kids play football. I mean,
No doubt.
It's when you learn which direction the ball is supposed to go.
Oh yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah.
Some of us
No
still
doubt.
don't know.
Right.
Well,
Yeah,
some
the
of
helmet
us do.
doesn't fit. And yep, that was fun.
So offensive lineman, tell me a little bit. We always ask about the training table because this is a cooking show.
No
so
doubt.
I've always wondered, do the offensive linemen go to a different table than, say, the punters?
To be honest, when we had like full team meals, yes, we always sat together and ate together, and there was a little bit of a deal there. But like during the regular day, it was just really when you had your class schedule that worked the best. So.
But did you have different menus? That's what I'm kind of after. Did you get 3 steaks and the punter get
Well, no,
half a
everyone could
steak?
eat like off the buffet, but I think the biggest misconception about our linemen is that we just eat junk all the time. I remember when I played, I was always really, we had our fun meals, we always had like the Slossons from Chipotle and, all that fun stuff. But we actually, for the most part, most of us were pretty good about eating healthy foods. We just ate a lot of it. And I was always trying to gain weight, so yep.
Be a nice problem to have, wouldn't it?
I know,
Right.
it would be.
Yeah, every girl's like jealous of the fact that I was force feeding myself for 4 years, so yeah.
Probably
No
not
doubt.
as much fun as it sounds.
Right, no doubt.
So after you played for Nebraska, you went on to try out for some NFL teams. Tell us a little about that.
Yeah, I tried out with Minnesota and New Orleans. Then I played in the UFL for the Omaha Nighthawks.
Okay.
I had a great experience there. Actually, my O-line coach was Ron Hiller, who was kind of connected with a few, like Dave Remington. He played with him back in the Eagles and all that stuff. And he was a really cool guy. So he made that experience worthwhile. And then I tried out again, didn't make it. So I actually went back with Coach Bo and was the offensive line GA with them for a year. And then when there was the coaching change, now I work for my dad and sell cars up at Markle BMW. So.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yep.
I bet people love to buy cars from you.
Oh yeah, I love to sell them, right? No, so it's all
It's a
good.
win-win, huh?
Yeah, it's a win-win.
There's a football term, right?
Yep. There you
So
go.
let's talk a little bit more about your recipe. Bruschetta or bruschetta?
I have no idea. I didn't even know there was a discrepancy there. So we've always said bruschetta.
I think it's Americanized probably.
Probably.
So we'll go with it.
My dad might have a better idea. He's more Italian than I am. So.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll
he's
have
from
to ask
the East
him
Coast.
in a
He's from
moment.
Worcester. He definitely
Yep.
knows more than I do.
We were
so.
happy. We were happy that you invited him to be on the show with you today. It
Oh,
was,
yeah.
it'll be a lot of fun because
No doubt.
usually Angela and I kind of work with the player when it's just a single person, and
Right.
we make some of the dishes up.
Right.
But this time you guys are going to cook for us, so
Yeah,
I'm really
I like
excited.
it, yeah.
Excited
No
too.
doubt.
Letting a man take care of you in the kitchen.
I know,
Yeah.
I
Nice. We
know.
can
There
just
you
sit back.
Relax,
it.
relax. So
I like
So
it.
this recipe, is this your mom's recipe? Where did this come from?
Yeah, this is definitely my mom's recipe. So she started a garden like 5 years ago or something like that. She loves doing all that stuff. She's from a small town in Nebraska and always been a part of her life. So she would just take the fresh tomatoes, and we were thinking up different stuff that we can do, sauce and all this stuff, and we kind of came up with our bruschetta idea, and it was probably one of the ones that stuck. So anytime we do family dinner, most of the time when it's season like right now, and she just has a bunch of tomatoes laying around, we make a lot of bruschetta. So.
Awesome. Now your
Yeah.
picture in the cookbook, you guys weren't at home
Right.
when I requested it. So tell me a little bit about where you were.
Yeah, we were in, it was beautiful. We were in Pelican Hills, California on family vacation, and just loving it. And the kitchen looks awesome. So, and like right out that window was the ocean. So
wow.
there was worse places we could have taken that picture.
Definitely.
No doubt. No doubt.
Definitely.
Yep.
Awesome.
okay. Well, Mike, would you like to invite your dad on
Oh
and
yeah,
introduce him
absolutely.
to us?
Come on, Tony.
Hey, how we doing, Angela?
Very good. How are
to see ya.
you?
Mike, good intro there. How you doing?
It's so good to see you, Tony.
Yep, for sure.
Welcome to the show.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, we're going to put you guys to work today.
I like it.
Like I was telling Mike, usually we do all the cooking and we kind of have it here for the folks that come on, but today we thought, I read the recipe and I think you guys could pull it off for us. So it's going to be a bit of a marathon to get her done on time. We only have so many minutes.
Okay, we'll work fast.
Yeah. So basically, like you said, this is your mom's recipe. So she uses the fresh tomatoes. Well, I went to my garden and
nice.
slim pickings out there.
I
It's the fall of the year. So I brought in some fresh tomatoes for you.
They look healthy. Yep.
They look real healthy. So Tony, I'm going to have you chop up the tomatoes.
I can do that.
We're going to have to watch the recipe. I'm going to have you kind of read the recipe and kind of help Mike along. With the recipe. So I'm going to let you take a little bit of charge here for us. So
I should have brought my cheaters.
Okay,
But I do have a lot of it in my head. So
all right.
If you could start, Mike, if you'd like, just kind of cutting the bread. Maybe like a half, not even quite a half.
So,
an inch.
Mike, what I brought for you today is a serrated knife. Do you guys use a serrated knife?
Yes, absolutely.
And tell me why you use the serrated knife.
Bread, it'll push and crumple it and all that stuff, right?
I love it. See, a guy who knows what he's doing in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to have you cut this up. It's a sharp knife. It is from Pampered Chef. We have a wonderful consultant, and she's given this one to us. So careful of your fingers.
Okay.
We do have Band-Aids off stage. So
I love it.
We've needed them before.
Yes.
Mike, while you're doing that, maybe I'll chop up the tomato.
If you
Is
could
that
do
a
the
good
tomatoes,
idea?
that would be a great
Awesome.
idea. We're going to put those right over here.
And we've got kind of the main ingredients.
Yep, we're going to chop up the tomatoes.
Perfect.
And
I like that.
you're going to use a big giant knife on that.
Yeah, sure.
So perfect. And then I have a little bowl for you. You can plop those in there. And we have some salt and pepper. Now, I loved the way you did the garlic for this recipe, right on just rubbing it right on the fresh cut bread.
Yes.
And I would have never guessed that it would give such a great flavor to the bread, just doing that.
I think putting it that way, I think what I like about it, you're a professional, but it's not too strong, but you get the nice flavor of it. Some people absolutely love garlic, like I can eat it raw, but my wife doesn't appreciate it.
That's how I cook.
So unfortunately, I got to keep it kind of where it has the hint of garlic, but be a little mild. And so rubbing it that way, you get kind of the best of both worlds, it seems.
And actually, that's true. Because after you cut it and then you do your garlic on it, then you put it under a broiler, correct?
Yes, yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, and I'm going to pass this over to Mike because he's going to need that. That's 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and then you're going to put that right on the bread. So I'll give you a little brush over
And Mike
there.
has tasted the bread. The bread is good.
The bread is good.
Good.
The bread
Mike,
is really good.
I'm glad you tasted it.
Yeah, well, I cut a piece too big. What are you
Yes.
going to do?
Oh, yeah. I think
Okay, cut 'em
this
all up?
recipe calls
Perfect.
for 4.
Yes.
So I think if you cut up 4,
That'd be great.
that'll be perfect for us.
How's that
Now,
going, by the way?
Tony,
This is
do
going
you
really
see a big difference in garden tomatoes versus store-bought tomatoes?
Absolutely. I'll tell you, I hate it. To be truthful, it was Mother's Day about 6 or 7 years ago when my wife brought home Better Homes and Garden magazine, and there was a garden on the front cover. I kept telling her, I said, God, geez, we can't have a garden in our neighborhood. The neighbors might call somebody, right? So I didn't want a garden because it looked like some work, which like Mike pointed out, my wife loves that kind of work. I frankly don't. I'd rather be golfing, right?
Right, most guys. But.
So anyway, one day we went and bought all the lumber. And,
you've done a raised,
we did a
bed.
raised garden,
Those
raised
are
bed.
so nice and so much easier to care for.
Oh,
the little
yes.
raised, and they're more manageable.
Yes.
I mean, when I think of gardening, I think of the half-acre my mom had. That,
okay.
You had to get up at the crack of dawn to do everything.
Yeah.
Let's see, Mike, I think that your dad's going to have to crush this garlic up for you. So
I love it.
I'm going to, unless you can do it with your hands. I mean, you probably could, but
That sounds like a
Just
challenge.
squeeze it.
smashing it
Squeeze
with a
it.
knife might work a little.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh, it went.
Look at the strength
We
there.
got it.
Still
got it after
Still got it.
5
yeah.
years.
Yeah.
5 years
That'll
later.
get the juices flowing in there too.
Yeah. So you just
Your hands are
take-
going to smell for days.
I love it. The smell of
Hey,
garlic is
that's a
awesome.
great smell. If you're Italian, the smell of garlic, there's nothing better.
I'll tell you though,
Really.
so the tomatoes that you get out of the garden, incredible. Along with, she does some eggplant, she does some thyme, and she does some other things. And so anyway, I don't argue about it anymore. I can't honestly say I still help out as far as picking and so on and so forth, but
You
she
allow
does a
her
great
to.
job. I love watching her do that because I see the joy on her face.
Yeah.
So
It can be very
probably like-
relaxing.
yeah,
Yeah,
oh,
Very
absolutely.
relaxing.
That type of work is always, for me, relaxing. Golfing
I
is
agree.
relaxing too, but
Yes.
it's the
It
same,
can
it's
be.
the same, well, it depends on how
It's a little
good you
stressful
golf.
for me, I'll be
Yeah.
totally honest.
Really?
Oh,
No.
man.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you hit a bad shot, it's like picking a rotten tomato, right?
No doubt.
I think this will be your last,
That's a good
one,
analogy.
Okay.
there.
your
That's
last
good.
one there, and then we're gonna have
Got
you
it.
crush this garlic in there
Okay, perfect.
for us. Look at him go over there. So after you put the garlic on both sides, Mike, then you spread it with your olive
The
oil,
olive
correct?
oil, yep.
Yeah.
So garlic on both sides, Sherry,
correct. Yeah, that's what the recipe
Yeah.
says. You put it on both sides.
Reason
and-
for that, Tony, Mike?
Garlic, I love it. It thins your blood. So that's I don't take any medication. I take a lot of garlic
Very
and
good
red
for
wine.
you.
And red wine.
And
There
red
you go.
wine.
Red wine.
Well,
Yeah,
Especially sea of red
and
wine.
olive oil.
There you
Yes.
go.
And olive
So-
oil.
And olive oil. So we have the olive oil today, and we have the garlic, but no sea of red wine.
Talking about
Today.
being, Italian, so our grandparents grew up in the same house that I grew up in. And it's interesting to me with you just talk about health in general, and I think about some of those old Italians that appeared to be, quite a little bit overweight. But the way they cooked with a lot of garlic, everything always had garlic in it, it always had olive oil in it, and they lived to 85 and 90 years old.
Oh,
and
gosh,
generally
yes.
really, but they worked in their own yard, they stayed pretty active. And I know a lot of it's genetics, maybe has nothing to do with that, but now, there's a vitamin for this and a pill for that, and
all processed
really
foods.
just-
And all
and
processed
all
food.
processed
Everything.
foods,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly.
Great job, Mike. Now, our pampered chef gal is always giving us things that saves us a little time in the kitchen.
Okay.
So this is a garlic press. The nice thing about it is you don't have to take the skin off. You just
Oh,
drop
put it in there and press
just
away?
drop it in there. Put the little
Awesome.
plunger on the top, and you can just do that right over the
Fantastic.
top of your bowl there.
I love it. Oh, look at that.
Sure, you give him the tools, it's
Of
all good.
course.
No,
Sorry,
just-
I
no,
gave you
I'm
a sharp
teasing.
knife, Mike.
You did.
I
He's getting
did.
up there, Mike. We gotta help
And
him
then
out
you
as
can
much
just
as
take
we
your
can.
knife,
No,
and
no. Take it
then,
out.
and then, well, no,
No.
on the bottom you still have more.
Oh, I
don't
see.
don't be losing the goodie
boy,
there.
Oh, boy, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Now, do you guys,
That's
is
what's
this-
hard when everything's
this might be
blurry.
sacrilegious, but do you guys ever use the jarred
At my
garlic?
age, everything.
The jar
Everything's blurry.
I don't think
Yes,
so.
I would
I think
agree.
it's the
Okay,
color.
so
Probably a little
then
salt, yeah.
we're gonna
Yeah,
do a
actually it is,
salt.
yep.
Now, you said that,
I was going to show
Yeah,
you
you're
how.
gonna show me. I'm
this
curious.
well, you can either call it a chiffonade or some people call it a cigar roll. I'm
like
just
the
gonna
cigar roll
Kind
idea
of
there.
roll
I'd like
your.
to hear you say chiffonade, Tony.
chiffonade.
See, he said it so nice. I think that's more French than Italian.
Yes.
So you'll take your leaves and stack them together like so, and just roll it up, kind of like you would a
I
cigar.
like it. Oh, and then cut it
Yeah,
out.
and then you're just gonna run your
little
knife
tiny
over it
cut.
in
Oh,
little
look at
tiny cuts like
I
that.
can do it.
And then you can chop
She's
it
a
up
lefty,
more.
so.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
that's
know, left-handed.
Perfect.
Yeah, well, that
Perfect.
means we're creative people. That's why she's cooking and I'm selling cars. see?
Maybe we should trade.
Well, while he's doing that, I think we should talk a little bit about the drink that we have to go with the bruschetta.
Oh, do we have a little drink
We
to?
do. Now, we did already talk about wine. Red wine
Yeah.
definitely goes well with this. This is usually an appetizer, so it might be followed up by a hearty pasta, possibly a veal parmesan, which would go great with that. But John at Salt always likes to throw us a curveball.
Nice.
So what he's given us today is called Omaha Ice Water.
Oh,
And the only warning he gave me is this is a very strong drink.
okay.
So I know
like
Tony
it.
said he had a tough day today, so this will be perfect. Basically, what we have is Bombay Sapphire Gin, vodka, lime juice, a little bit of Sprite, and then garnished with a lime wheel.
I
So
like
it's a
it.
very, very, very basic drink. I've got all the ingredients except for the lime wheel in here. So we're going to go ahead and throw some ice in there.
That looks good.
Nice work. That looks beautiful.
Spill some.
Gorgeous, gorgeous.
Doing good.
All right.
All right.
And then I usually have
thank
one of
you.
my guys shake this up, and they both look a little busy, so I'm going to do it myself this
Oh,
time.
be careful, Angela.
Oh yeah, over the shoulder.
I like
and it's
it. I like the
leaking.
form.
Is it
Which
leaking?
is why I normally have the guys shake up the drink. So, lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
Oh, that's fantastic.
A little bit of this for everyone.
We love it when Angela does gadgets
Don't
because she
we?
has a
Yeah.
special and unique way of using
Of
that.
messing them up is what she wanted
tools.
to say. Pour a little bit of this for everyone.
Nice.
John loves his shaker drinks, and I can tell you why. It's because you're able to get the drinks nice and cold without watering them down too much. So he always loves to give us drinks that are done in the shaker. And shakers are very inexpensive, or you can find some really, really high-end ones. But looks like we only have 2 lime wheels, so we're just going to go ahead. The guys get the garnished ones. Sherry and I are going to take the non-garnished ones.
Okay.
Why don't we give this a try
Okay.
and see if John is correct?
Oh, I think we should toast.
Oh,
Yeah,
see, I went right for the drinking.
Oh gosh.
My
Okay, we
garnish
now have
drinks.
one
So
lime
what
wheel.
does salute
One
mean? I always hear
Salute.
Salute to good health.
Yeah, good
Salute.
health and live long and prosper.
Well, that's,
Awesome.
yeah,
Salute.
there's the,
I
there's the,
think
yeah.
that's from.
That's the poetic version from Star Trek, I think. But yeah, that'll work. Nanu nanu. Yeah.
Isn't this an awesome drink?
I like it.
Now, what is
who
it
made
called?
the drink?
Ooh, John at Salt Restaurant.
Wow,
He's
I
a
have
chef.
to visit that guy.
Absolutely, it's an
It's
awesome
on their menu.
restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, it's just gin, vodka, Sprite, and lime juice. So very
fantastic.
easy.
Yeah.
Very easy. You could also put it in a
Definitely a cool
martini glass.
summery kind
Yep.
of-
Yeah, summer.
Yeah,
We're
very
all
summery.
fighting the fact that summer's gone, so have a lot of summery drinks. But this is a great porch meal that you could sit out and have a drink, even as
Absolutely.
it's cooling off.
I
So
totally agree.
Well, and your bruschetta recipe actually would be a great one to take. It's so simple and easy that somebody who doesn't have a lot of time could mix it up quickly and take it to a football party or a tailgating event. I mean, it's really nice. I mean, great job, Mike, on putting it together, or Mrs.
thanks.
Caputo. Tell her
Yeah.
thanks for coming up with something fun from the garden, because the nice red tomatoes are just delicious. I brought a little bit of Parmesan in if we wanted to sprinkle that on. There's
Sure.
some
That's a
plates
great
over there. We
idea.
should
Perfect,
we
yeah.
should test out this
pick up-
this
absolutely.
recipe.
definitely.
See what
Go
we
ahead and
think.
put that over here. While
Nice.
she's serving that up, I wanted to talk to you, Tony, just
Okay.
a little bit about the nonprofit that you guys chose for Mike's recipe, Alzheimer's Association.
Yes.
Tell me why you chose them.
You know, I was actually, I think I told you the story a while ago, but it was Christmas Eve, and I grew up in Boston, and of course we live here in Nebraska, and I called my mom, and I just wanted to wish her a Merry Christmas. She says, and we lived in a very small apartment. My mom said, you know, Anthony, I just can't get rid of Diane Sawyer and President Clinton. They're in the living room, and they've kind of commandeered my TV. My mom was kind of a prankster, so I said, geez, Mom, I said, what are you talking about? She goes,
Yeah.
I'm telling you. She goes, I can't, they're in there talking. I says, do you mean Diane Sawyer and President Clinton are like on TV?
Right.
No, they're sitting in my living room and they're watching my TV. So it scared me a little bit. Fortunately, we all lived in a street block from each other, and so I called my aunt, and she says, I'll go check on her. So she called me about an hour later, and she says, you're not going to believe it. I'm down here at the emergency ward. I took your mom in because she had all her luggage packed. The medication you used to take for whatever she had was all spread around the table. So it was kind of scary. Jumped on a plane, went out there, and that's when we heard about, for the first time in my life, I heard about dementia. So dementia and Alzheimer's, not to be technical, are kind of quite different, but the symptoms are very same.
Yeah.
And so my mom actually had dementia. And I just remember thinking to myself, as a car dealer, people bring us their car, they expect us to fix it. Well, I brought my mom to the hospital. I kind of expected them to fix it. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of fixes just yet. They're not
Right.
quite sure why they got some reasons why they think it happens, but they really don't know how to reconnect all the dots in your brain to get you to remember stuff. So anyway, long story short, when you came up with the idea, which I think is phenomenal, it was pretty easy for me to pick the disease that we would love to tackle
Absolutely.
because it obviously affected our family near and dear. So
Research
that's
is
where
important.
it came from.
Research
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
important, and that's where
That's
the
how you
monies
fund it.
go,
Yeah.
to the research
Yes,
aspect of it.
for sure.
Yes.
And a lot of times it's our donations that actually push that.
Absolutely.
People have to be
And they're all
interested.
wonderful. There's not one
Yes.
that I've read the book, and I've looked at all the different charities that'll hopefully benefit, and
Yes.
they will benefit, and every single one of them's fantastic. And God knows there's a ton of problems out there. And so if you're breathing and walking, right, and
Right,
you're
right,
cooking, or you're selling cars, or you're writing books, life's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And but there's a whole lot of folks a little less fortunate. So if we can help them, that's what our job is to do, right? And that's why I think what you guys are doing is
Yeah,
fantastic.
we love it.
Thank you.
It's so great to just hear people's stories and how it's affected them, and then that they want to do something.
Absolutely.
That's the important part, is the wanting to do something.
Totally
I
agree.
appreciate that.
And definitely go check out bigredrecipes.com. You can see a little bit more about Alzheimer's Association, as well as all the other wonderful nonprofits that have been chosen by the players, and find out more information about them so you can contact them and get involved. So one of the fun aspects of this book, definitely getting more involved with the charities, seeing how we can help them, and just bringing more awareness to a lot of the charities, locally and nationally.
Very cool.
Well, what are we waiting for?
I think we gotta-
I think
I
I
give it a
that's
try.
for
Get
you,
yours,
Mike.
Mike, or
No,
do
you go ahead. I'll make
Oh
one
no!
up.
Oh
You
no!
got it.
I saw you.
Yes.
you know.
If I eat, I can't talk. It's hard.
Oh, I hear
It's
ya.
hard.
Oh,
I
yeah.
eat afterwards when everyone
Good.
else is finished
Oh, that
talking.
came out
What do you
fantastic.
think? I mean, I did go ahead and make up the bruschetta at home, but it was done just exactly like you did it. I just really, really like
It's
it.
fantastic. Mike,
So-
Tell they're fresh.
I know.
Make
the
sure you give it a
freshness is
try
great.
with the drink too. Tony, you look like
Well,
you need a little
folks,
bit more.
The show is about over. We're glad that you tuned in again this week. We appreciate all of our viewers out there. I want to give a big thank you to my amazing production crew that every week does this show. Without them, it wouldn't be possible. And I'd like to let our viewers at home know that if you have a Nebraska Cornhusker that you've seen cooking in the kitchen, we'd love to hear from you. Or if you have a gadget you'd like to see demonstrated, send an email to the show at bigredrecipes.com and we'll get right back to you. But I'd like to thank you guys.
thank
Tony,
you.
thank you. Mike,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Appreciate
You
it.
guys, awesome. Nothing nicer than a father-son team
There you
to
go.
do it. So until next time, I want to say God bless, and we'll see you again in the Big Red Kitchen on the Big Red Kitchen Show. And before we close off, let's have a little bit more.
have a little bit more.
The Big Red Kitchen Show was brought to you by Markle Auto Group, Salt Restaurant, Wren's Display, The Pampered Chef products provided by consultant Heidi Leopold, Sea of Red Wine, D. Ford Family Dental, Corporate Creations, D. Tendenza Food Styling and Photography.